With 2014, it marks the 20th anniversary of the 1994 Rwandan genocide. An estimated 800,000 people were killed in 100 days. So now with the 20th anniversary coming up, I really wanted to relaunch the piece and get it out and about, and so approached the United Nations to house it in their space during their commemorative time. And they accepted the piece to be housed in the Secretariat building lobby for 2 weeks this June, which is why we're doing this fundraiser, to generate the funds, to ship the work, transport it, advertise it, and rent some space either before or after that exhibit in New York City for people to participate. I was working on my master's degree at Penn State and thought it would be a great way to respond artistically to see how I could do something bigger than just a drawing that might hang in the bathroom. So I took it on to do this as a community project and then meet the basic needs still on the ground in Rwanda to see how art could do that. Clean water, shelter, education. And the biggest thing for me that hit me with the project was that to move forward, the country needs forgiveness. This is now 20 years into it, and to move forward, they have to be able to forgive each other. So the title of the piece, 800,000 Acknowledge, Remember, Renew, are those 3 stages of forgiveness. You have to fully acknowledge the entire atrocity, make a memorial of it, which is this 800,000 pages of books, and then renew, which is the restoring part, the projects that are on the ground. This piece allows people to respond physically to learning about the atrocity. It's 800,000 pages of books in 100 crates, so you can kind of quantify the volume of death. I mean, it's pretty staggering, the numbers. And so, unlike Hotel Rwanda, where you see the movie on your TV and then you kind of cry and you go about your life, this asks people to physically respond by printing their hand in clay on one page, so it's a life-for-life representation. Having done that for like $5 given to our foundation, which does projects on the ground in Rwanda.
As we participate as artists, and as we include other people in the process, I believe that it continues to reinforce our humanity as we ask other people to help us, and as we include other people in our decisions. Attempt to move forward in an enlightened way. This project does that.
Moving the exhibit is quite an undertaking. The crates weigh almost 38 pounds a piece. So I'm looking at 5 to 6 helpers to load and unload all 100 of them, and minimally because of the weight requirement on the 17-foot truck. So take that times 2 for the install and deinstall, like $200 paid help with 700 two-way traffic, and then a buffer for New York City parking. I've got about a $1,000 travel budget. Secondly, it requires an exhibition space outside the UN so that people can participate. I do want to leverage it being there and put it in another venue nearby during the time or right after. So I'm earmarking about $3,000 to go towards renting the space for a couple weeks after the show. And last but not least, it's one thing to have an exhibit, but the point of it is to get people there and actually see it. So I've earmarked about $2,000 for a marketing budget to promote the show in New York and get the word out. Pasters, Facebook, web updates, and time for some phone calls and emails to various entities. Add in the standard processing fees and the cost for your gifts. I'm looking at about $8,000 to make this show happen. Well, yeah, why not just give $8,000 to Rwanda? Why support this piece to be funded in New York? Well, it's a bigger work than just responding to the need in Rwanda. There's a lot of educational awareness that needs done. Again, the forgiveness aspect and component for people to engage in wanting to help a country that's the size of Maryland. And it's also about how an artist can engage a larger community to respond to an atrocity like this, to set a model for other artists to make work that can make a difference.
What people can do and what can be realized through these kinds of inclusive projects needs to be exploited. And the only real way to continue to advance these kinds of ideas is to continue to include people in the process. And the only way to include people in the process is to help more and more people understand what you're doing And this is the way to help people understand what you're doing. At the end of the day, the fact of the matter is that we're all human. We all need to help each other. And this is how it's done.